Hey, it's Anne-Marie with Speak Confident English, and welcome to this week's Confident English lesson, where I'm answering a question that I received recently from a student. Bayan wanted to know about the abbreviations OMG and FYI. Do native speakers use these in our daily conversations when we speak? Or do we only use them in writing, for example, in text messages, emails, and social media posts? That is a fantastic question, because when you communicate in English, I know that you want to be sure about the words that you use, and you want to sound more natural. You want to use the same language that native speakers use. So let's dive into this question. Today I have two answers for you, and the first one is really short and simple. Do native speakers use abbreviations in speaking? Yes, we definitely do. In fact, we do it all the time. And in a moment, I'll share with you some examples that you probably already use, but you've never really thought about it. To make sure that you correctly use abbreviations in your English conversation, I want to share with you two types of abbreviations that we often use, and we'll talk about some common examples that have become really popular in the last several years. So first, let's talk about what an abbreviation is and two kinds that we often use when we're speaking. An abbreviation is any shortened form of several words or a phrase. For example, have you ever said U.S.A. instead of the United States of America? If you have, then you've definitely used an abbreviation. And this one specifically is an initialism. What that means is we say each letter individually. U.S.A. is short for United States of America, and we used the first letter of each word to make it shorter and be able to express what we want more quickly. Other common examples are DVD, CD, or ASAP. In each of those, when we're talking about it in a conversation, we pronounce each individual letter. The second type of an abbreviation is called an acronym. In writing, it looks the same. You have individual letters that represent multiple words or a phrase. But when we say those letters like a word. For example, in English, the abbreviation for personal identification number is PIN. But in conversation, we don't say PIN, we say it like the word PIN. Another example is ASAP. Now, you might be wondering, wait a minute, she just said ASAP, and now she's saying ASAP. The truth is, this is an example where both are used in conversation and both are okay. Of course, it means as soon as possible, and when you're speaking, you can use it either as an initialism, ASAP, or as an acronym, ASAP. Now that you know the difference between two common abbreviations, and you know that you already use some of them in your daily English, let's look at an example using some newer abbreviations that have become really common and popular as a result of social media. You've probably seen these on a TV show or Instagram or Facebook, but let's look at how you can use them in conversation. Imagine that you call one of your friends, and when you call her, you get her voicemail, and that means that you need to leave a message. With voicemails, no one wants to listen to a long message, so this is the perfect opportunity to use a few abbreviations. Let's imagine that this is what you want to say or you want to express to your friend. Hey, I just wanted to let you know that I thought your party was amazing, but it sounds like something totally weird happened after I left. What happened? I heard that the new boss said way too much about the private management meetings. I can't believe I missed it. Call me back as soon as you get this. I'm dying to know all about it. By the way, thank God it's Friday. Let's make some plans for the weekend. All right, so that's the message you want to send to your friend, but honestly, it's way too long. So let's look at how we could use some common modern abbreviations to say what you want much more quickly. Hey, FYI, your party was OMG amazing, but WTF, what happened after I left? I heard there was a TMI situation with the new boss. I have total FOMO. Call me back ASAP. I'm dying to hear about it. By the way, TGIF, let's make some plans. Now, before I explain all of those abbreviations that I just used, I want to let you know that we probably wouldn't use so many at one time when we're speaking. We might use just one or two. But for today's lesson, I want to highlight some of these really common abbreviations. So let's break down the abbreviations that I used and what they mean when we use them when we're speaking. I started that voicemail with FYI, your party was OMG amazing. You're probably already familiar with FYI. We use it in business all the time, and it means for your information. When we use it in conversation, it's another way of saying, I want to tell you something. And OMG is short for oh my goodness or oh my God. And it's something that we say when we want to express surprise, shock, or excitement about something. Then I said, but WTF, what happened after I left? WTF is short for what the, I'm sure you can figure out that last word. I'm not going to say it in this lesson, but we consider it a bad word or a swear word. So WTF is a great way to avoid saying that bad word. It is still pretty casual and slang-like, so I don't recommend using it in really formal or professional situations. You might use it to respond to a crazy story that your friend tells you about, or maybe you're watching your favorite team on TV and they make a terrible mistake. WTF is the perfect response. Now, in that voicemail, the reason I said WTF is because I heard there was a TMI situation with the new boss. TMI is short for too much information, and this is perfect to use in those situations when someone is sharing something with you and they're sharing way too many personal or private details and you're a little bit uncomfortable. For example, imagine that you have a brand new colleague at work and this is the first day that you've met them, and they start telling you all this information about their life and their divorce, and you think, ooh, this is weird. I just met this person. This is definitely TMI. It's too much information. There are too many personal details, and it makes you a little uncomfortable. Now, it's clear from the voicemail that I left the party early and I missed this crazy situation, and as a result, I had total FOMO. FOMO is short for fear of missing out, and it's the perfect abbreviation to express that feeling that you have when something really awesome is happening and everyone you know is there except you. You're missing it, and that's a really crappy feeling to have. So you might have FOMO. For example, if everyone you know, all your friends are going to this huge concert tomorrow night, but you have to work, you'd probably have FOMO. Because I wanted to get all of those details and find out what really happened, I asked my friend to call me back ASAP, as soon as possible. And we talked about this one earlier in the video. I could have said ASAP. I usually use ASAP. Both are okay in this situation. And finally, I ended my voicemail with TGIF, let's make some plans. TGIF is short for thank God it's Friday. And that is exactly how we all feel at the end of a long week, and we're so happy that the weekend is here. And now you have several examples of really modern, popular abbreviations that we use in writing and in daily conversation. Now, before I get to my challenge questions for you today, I have two things I want to share. Number one, if you want more information about additional common abbreviations that we use, you can go to the online lesson today to see more examples, and I have a previous lesson about internet slang that is focused on abbreviations as well. I'll leave a link to that just below this video. The second thing I want to share is if you enjoyed today's lesson and found it useful to you, I'd love to know that. There are two ways that you can tell me. One, you can like this video on YouTube, or you can share this video on Facebook. So let's get to today's challenge question. I want you to get more comfortable using these abbreviations in your daily English. I have 3 different sentences for you, and I want you to tell me how you would use an acronym to shorten them, to express what you want to say more quickly. You can do that by sharing with me in the comments section at the bottom of the lesson. So here are those 3 sentences. Number 1, please call me back soon. It's urgent. I'm so bummed I'm gonna miss the party this weekend. Everyone else is going. And number 3, oh my goodness, what happened? Those are your 3 sentences, and I want you to try using an abbreviation that you learned today to express it much more quickly. With that, thank you so much for joining me, and I look forward to seeing you next week for your Confident English lesson.